Welcome back to the Fractured and Alterac card review by the Grinning Goat Lightforge podcast.
Hi. Okay. Let's talk about priests.
Yeah,
People
and
love priests.
one of
Everyone's favorite
these
class.
one of these classes with no S tier cards. Remember those?
Yeah, it's weird. But let's talk about priests. Are they going to be super oppressive? If it is, it won't be really because of these new cards.
It might be.
It could be.
It
Uh,
might be. Here's one of them. Here's a candidate for oppression, although this is an epic, so it's not really gonna. It is a 1 mana priest spell. These are all A tier cards, so they're like top of the line priest spells that you normally see. It's only 1 mana, right? For a 1 mana card to get A tier status is pretty damn good. Choose a minion. It steals 1 health from all other minions. So remember like that mage shooting stars spell that we were talking about before, where it was just like deals 1 damage to all enemy minions? It was like really good. Well, this one doesn't just do that, but then gives one of your minions a bunch of health. The only difference is that you have to have a health, and it'll also steal health from your other minions too, which, you're just reallocating health among your minions, not a big deal.
yep. Really freaking good. You get a lot more than you should. And in a class that naturally doesn't have a ping. So this is nice. This is just a nice early game or mid game tempo swing. It's a huge tempo swing
Yeah,
potentially.
gigantic temple swing for 1 mana. So beyond that, there's another insanely good card, but again, not S tier, just A tier, like a traditionally normal premium card. And it is Spirit Guide. Spirit Guide is a 5 mana 5/5 taunt, already decent. Death Rattle. Draw a holy spell and a shadow spell. I'm going to repeat that. It's a normal 5 mana card, though, probably be rated like, I don't know, D plus or something. And then you draw 2 spells from your deck.
Yep.
Well, what? You just draw 2. And remember, spells are better than cards. Spells are good. The things you want are spells. So as long as you have a holy spell in your deck, which you probably do, and you have a shadow spell in your deck, which after this set you probably do, it's good.
Yep. Quite good. Okay. Next card.
So next we have 4 cards that are all B tier. Again, B tiers are your normal. This card is a good card in my deck. It's definitely in the top half of my cards. We'll start with Deliverance. Deliverance is 3 mana, holy spell, deal 3 damage to a minion. Honorable Kill, summon a new 3/3 copy of it. So again, 2 damage for 2 mana, super bad. 3 damage for 3 mana, super bad. You need to get this Honorable Kill. So the entire question of how good this card is, one is like, unless you're super desperate, just wait for the Honorable Kill. And 2, the question is, what are the chances you're going to be able to pull the Honorable Kill? How often is this card a dead card, like not pulling its weight in your hand? And how much can you like use it? And what do you use it on? Are you just going to use it on something and get a 3/3? Or can you actually find a minion with like an ability or like a death rattle or something? Like, that's the question that determines whether this card is a good card or like just an okay card.
Yep. You will most likely be able to wait as the priest because you have lots of ways to stall the game. You have lots of ways to heal. You have lots of ways to just be as annoying as possible. So you can wait. But yes, on average, it's kind of only a B because like a lot of times, you're thinking of also the dream, right? It's like, oh, I can do this on a proto drake, or I can do this
Mm-hmm.
on like the 6 mana minion that has a conditioning attached to it. It's like, yeah, that's nice and everything, but lots of times you won't get that. It'll just be a regular 3/3. There are times in which you have to kill something, and you might not even get the honorable kill. Well, that sucks, but you had to kill that anyways, so it just averages out to like a B.
Yep. Remember, shamans have this card with one overload, It doesn't get the ability, but it's otherwise the same thing and does not require honorable kill. And that card is good. So this is the same, except it is much more conditional, and with a potentially higher payout, and it costs more. I think the thing here is that 3 damage is actually kind of hard to pull off. Will you be able to pull it off at some point in the game? Yes, 100%. But it will be in your hand for longer than you probably think.
Yep.
Next up is Storm Pike Aid Station. So here's the priest objective location, whatever. At the 3 mana, at the end of your turn, give your minions +2 health. Last 3 turns. So this is like the Paladin one, which is +2/+2 on things you summon, except this is 1 less mana, you don't get the attack, but it rebuffs your minions if they stay alive. And they're more likely to stay alive because you're giving them health.
Yeah. And if not, you're giving the new minions that you put out health. This is good. This is nice. You're doing exactly what you want to do as a priest. And I think that this card, you get the value like pretty fast. Because you don't even have to kind of like wait until, the 3 turns like you had to do with the 2/2 stealth like cubs to get your value. You could pretty much get this value like in 1.5/2 turns.
Yep.
Very easily. Very, very easily. And then turn 3 is pure bonus.
Yep. As long as you have minions, you get it. That's the only condition. And as priests, how many minions are you gonna have, right? Like, yeah, we'll see. But it's quite strong. That's why it's B tier on paper. It just depends on what your style of your deck is. Next, we have another B tier card. It is Undying Disciple. Undying Disciple is a rare 6 mana 3/7 taunt, which is a little understated, but has a death rattle. Deal damage equal to this minion's attack to all enemy minions. So that is at least 3 damage board clear enemy, which is quite powerful. So it makes this essentially a 6/7 with taunt at minimum that also damages anything else on your opponent.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking at what the priest cards are doing, it's just a lot of like normal like stuff. Like the priests aren't doing anything ridiculous. They just have powerful, good cards that do normal things. Like they're buffing things on the board. They're killing. They're removing by dealing 3 damage. They're taunting. They are drawing spells, right? It's just very normal, like Hearthstone stuff. Not even like necessarily priest, but they're all quite good. The legendary is the next one we'll talk about. This one is also B tier. It is 4 mana, 1/4. Battle Cry. Take control of an enemy minion. Death Rattle. Give it back. So 1/4 is obviously a terrible stat line. Taking control of an enemy minion is great. But it only takes 4 damage for your opponent to get it back, which they'll probably do on the very next turn.
Yeah. But at the very least, like, so the best use of this is when they obviously don't immediately have the answer on the board. So it takes either kind of a rush or it takes a spell in order to kill it. And in which case, you've at least frozen whatever minion for a turn. So even in those scenarios, it's like, okay, you played an understated minion, but at least you froze the big thing for a turn. And in really good scenarios, you might actually just be able to take it and then at least use the minion once to either trade or do something with it. It's pretty good. It won't always die. Like, it won't always die. There are ways for you to protect it. At the very least, there are ways for you to just be super duper annoying with this card.
Yep. Okay, so we got 3 more cards left in Priest. 2 of them are C pluses, so we're gonna talk about them next. Remember, C plus still good, still on the right side of the average card on your deck. And the first is Gift of the Naru, 1 mana epic spell. Holy. Restore 3 health to all characters, including face, including your opponents. If any are still damaged, draw a card. So 1 mana draw a card's already pretty good. You get some additional healing when you want to, which is also good. It's not higher than this because it's not as flexible as it seems. Something still has to be damaged, and you're a priest. It's entirely likely nothing is damaged once you heal everything for 3. So it's not as flexible as it takes for this to like move up into a good card category. But in the most scenarios, it is quite good. That's C plus.
Yep. Okay. Uh what's
Next is Bless. 2 mana, holy spell, give a minion +2 health, then set its attack to be equal to its health. So this is potentially a 2/2 buff, +2/+2 buff at least, possibly plus more attack if you have a high health, low attack minion. So yeah, it's good. Take it over a Yeti definitely. Could potentially have high pop off potential for a just 2 mana card, but at the same time, you can't buff the health of things you actually want to buff the health of. Like it's got to be set up. Like
Yeah.
you need that like 2/4 on the board or something, right? You can't have like a Yeti that's already eaten something.
So yeah, remember guys, because I already see it. People are like, "Wait, isn't this amazing?" All right, I'm gonna run something by you. Sometimes the attack is higher than the health.
And not because the attack
I'm gonna say
was
this.
higher than the health, but because you've used it somehow, right? Or it got some
Yeah,
incidental damage from your opponent's board clear or whatever.
I know, I know. It's insane. Like it's literally something that will never happen. But I'm gonna tell you guys, sometimes it does happen. Sometimes the attack is like a good amount higher than the health, and you don't always want to like heal it and then do this or like some. It's awkward sometimes. You're thinking of all those times in which you're just like, oh, if I drafted this like 2/8 and or like 2/7 or something, I'm like, how many 2/7s and 2/8s are you like drafting? First of all, right? Like let's think about this for a second. So it's not terrible. Like it's not undraftably
I
bad,
mean,
but
it's actively good,
it's
right? It's like C plus. C plus is fine.
yeah, it's a C plus. That means it is a average card that you will draft.
Yes.
It's like there. It's like the average card that you will draft. Not even that you will see, that you will draft. And,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty good because the cards that you draft these days are pretty good. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to acknowledge it's like downsides, which there are plenty of it. And the upside is like, whoa. Remember, 2 card combos are pretty, like, they're pretty nasty nowadays. So if you're like, oh man, I have like a 2/6 or a 2/8, and then this, good for you. Like that's kind of what you expect from those like quote combos. Plus,
Uh,
what you were just drafting like 2/6s.
I will say this: there's a lot of cards in this set for priests that give you health, right? Stormpike Aid Station is a good card. It gives you a lot of health. Bless can take advantage of that. Gift of the Naru heals. Shadow Word Devourer gives you health. There's a number of cards that go in this direction. And Priest has other cards that go, but it requires setup. Like
It
is the
does
thing.
require
Like
setup.
when you're thinking of the good scenarios, you're basically thinking of a combo, and combos are supposed to be good.
Yep. So yes, I already see this as well. Frazzled freshman into this. Yes, you can have on turn 2 a 6/6. It is possible. Um, but yeah, like it's not going to happen that often. So in that instance, yes, Bless is like an amazing card. But remember, these rankings are based on average, just average scenario.
All right. Last card is the only bad card in the entire preset for this expansion. It is Luminous Geode. It is a 2 mana 1/4. After a friendly minion is healed, give it +2 attack.
Body itself just sucks, man.
Yeah.
Like,
um,
that's really the problem. The body itself just really sucks. The effect that it has, it's okay. Like, I don't know. If someone really likes this, you can tell me why you really like it, but I don't see it, man.
the priest, just like the priest hero power is actually just like so bad now. Like hero powers in general are so bad, but at least hero powers that damage stuff scales based on how good the thing is that you need to kill. This like priest hero power scales at how good your minion is to keep alive, and not a lot of priest minions are that good to keep alive. Like they don't have like recurring effects. The very few that do have recurring effects are like just absurdly good cards anyway, because it's priest, right? They give health to stuff and they heal it. So they tend to not print those cards for priest for that exact reason. So you're just like being very slow when you use your hero path as priest. And after you do that, you get +2 attack, like you do. Maybe if it had initiative, which meant that you had to have a thing that was already damaged that survived a turn. Like just your chances of getting it to do anything is low, and your chances of it getting it to do anything that is relevant is even lower.
Yep. All right. So that's priest. I tend to focus more on the cars that are coming back rather than these new cars, which are like, they're fine. Um, but yeah, like priests can certainly be pretty nuts or even oppressive given the adjusts and how many class cards they get. Draconic studies is really, really scary. So scary. Because of, all these dragons that are in. Um, yeah. We'll see. But I can definitely see a meta in which priests are super duper annoying and they just keep on clearing you and then they finish you off with all this
Yeah.
big stuff.
The centerpiece of the new cards and Priest is Spirit Guide. It's a common card, it's almost on curve, it taunts, and most importantly, it gets you your Holy and Shadow spells into your hand. And those are the spells that hard remove, that do all this like crap. And so you will get access to your spells much more frequently than you used to, because you will always take Spirit Guide. Like this is just such an insanely good card. It's an A tier card. You will just always take it, and that will incentivize you to put holy spells and shadow spells in your deck. So priests are just going to have a lot of like spells, and priests already normally play with a lot of spells, especially with Mage Scribe. Like I think Mage Scribe was the best with priests out of all the classes. That'll probably be true again. And you're just going to have that loop, right? Like dragons, spells, more spells, dragons. Like it's priests are going to be very normal but annoying in the priest way. Like they're not. This is not the big combo priest era. This is the we're just going to do more things than other people and have more resources.
Yep.
All
Okay,
right.
that's it.
That's it. We're not going to give any shout outs here. We'll see you in the next episode, which is going to be about Rogue. Until then, this is Adwicta.
This is Merps. See ya, guys.